ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः. My humble salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, who is the establisher of Dharma, who is the embodiment of all the world religions, and who is the best among the incarnations. Om, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, today is a auspicious day, blessed day in our Dublin Air Vedanta Society. Why? As you all know, today morning we celebrated 188th birthday celebrations or Jayanti of Sri Ramakrishna. And it was attended by around 100 devotees. It started from 10:15 a.m. to it went on to 1:15 p.m. There's a beautiful renderings, Sanskrit hymns rendering by John Scott School. Then reading, prayer, bhajans, worship. Then a small skit by Balagokulam students, and also talks by different religious leaders, and ended with Arati. Such a beautiful and blessed event we had at morning. Today, we are trying to discuss compassionate Sri Ramakrishna, as the Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of compassion. The Sanskrit word, equivalent word for compassion is called daya. It is a wonderful word actually. And Buddha is known for this word for daya. Oh, one should have a Buddha's heart. Why? His heart was so universal, so magnanimous, it embraced anyone and everyone alike. So, in any human being, if a human being or a particular person who has got a magnanimous heart, then they say, oh, he has got a Buddha's heart. So, similarly, if you see in all the incarnations, in all the prophets, mostly they will have such universal heart where they can embrace the whole humanity, irrespective, without any distinction of caste, creed, color, or economical uh, discriminations, or nothing. And Sri Ramakrishna is also known for that universal heart. At least when I saw, or when just during my 8th or ninth standard, when I was studying Sri Ramakrishna's life, two things which really attracted me towards him. One was his spiritual fervor, the other is his magnanimous heart. Similarly, when we see, when I studied Swami Vivekananda's life, again there also, one is his universal heart, the other is Vedantic spirit. These two attracted me towards them. And Sri Ramakrishna was also known for that magnanimity. How to understand that? This compassion is also manifested at different levels. For an example, in day to day things or in society or in the environment, when we see, we understand that this compassion is exhibited or manifested as a fellow being, fellow feeling. We always feel for our neighbors, we feel for our friends, we feel for our known people. Oh, such a bad thing happened on them, it should not have happened. So, a sort of sympathy. So the compassion is being manifested in form of sympathy towards our fellow feelings, towards the humanity, towards the known people. But again, it has got limited and it has got its own plus and minus points too. And the second is, which is generally instinctively with many of us, we have got when we see some deceased people. Oh my God, he's suffering from disease. I should not. Oh God, please save him. When we go to a hospital to see one of our friend, when we see some people are suffering from the old age or from the disease or whatnot, without knowing whom he or she, we pray, we feel for them. Such type of concerning towards a fellow being or a human being, it is also very common with most of us. But when we try to help such people, the tinge of egoness, the tinge of superiority feeling creeps in very easily with most of us. So, this same type of compassion is also manifested in the God. or in the prophets or in the incarnations? No. There, the compassion is not based on any rules, regulations. It is not based on any ethnicity, or it is not based on any calculations. Like a friend, he or she was my friend. So something happened to him or her, immediately I started feeling and I started helping also. Then people felt, oh, see, she's such a compassionate, such a sympathetic man or a lady. Then after some time, unfortunately, we had a tussle. We had a difference of opinion and we had a tussle and we had an exchange of hot words. Then the next day onwards, the same sympathy, the same compassion, or the same fellow feeling, will it continue with him or her? No. Most of the time it is not so. Why? She is a crooked lady, she is such a lady, she is a such and such a person. It is not so. So all our love and affection and concern is always calculative. It is discriminative or it is limited. It is based on so many calculations. Whereas with respect to God, there is no calculation at all. That's why his compassion is totally different. And not only that, because of his compassion, the beings are uplifted. Because of my compassion, probably he or she may get some small help, that's all. Not much actually, most of the time. But because of God's compassion, every being is uplifted. Every being is taken care. Every being is provided all the necessary things, or he or she is saved from the distress or from the problems. And the one more thing is very important thing is, in the God's compassion, in the God's love, there is no attachment and there is no delusion. Or in the, according to, you want me to philosophical language, the sense of I and mine, the sense of I and mine is absent in the God's compassion, in the God's love. But whereas it exists in most of us. That's why you see, when you read Bhagavad Gita, the first sloka, we all know that. Dhutarashtra vacha, dharmakshetre kurukshetre samaveta yutsavaha mamakah pandavashchaiva kim akurvata Sanjaya. Hey Sanjaya, kim akurvata? Kim akurvata? What are they doing? Who? Where? Dharmakshetre kurukshetre. The battlefield called Kurukshetra, Samavetayu, many people have assembled Yuyutsavaha. For what? To dine, to have a moonlight dinner, or to have a picnic. Why did they assemble in Kurukshetra? They assembled in Kurukshetra to fight a war, holy war, as a part of their duty. Yutsavaha. Who are all they? Mamakaha, my people, and Pandavaschaiva, Pandu's son. See, Dhritarashtra is a king. When he's a king, he's supposed to see everyone with the equal eye, but he's not seeing. He's saying that Duryodhana, Dushyasana, and the people who are all supporting Duryodhana and Dushyasana, that means they are my people, mine people, and Pandava's son, they're Pandu's son. So their third, is using as a neutral gender, as a third person is using. As a king is not supposed to have that, but he's having. That is the reason the Kurukshetra war happened. The same thing also is there in us. Because of the sense of I and mineness, the Kurukshetra war is happening in us between good and bad, right and wrong. All so many Kurukshetra war is happening inside also. But whereas contrary, when Gandhari, just before Kurukshetra war about to start, the previous day Gandhari and Kunti starts from Hastinapur and they reach Kurukshetra previous day. They come in the same chariot, but once they enter the Kurukshetra battlefield, both of them, they got separated and they went to their respective tents where their children are there. When Gandhari came, all the 100 sons, they were all so happy to see the mother. They welcomed her, they asked her, they inquired about her health, they gave a seat for her to sit, and as a Hindu custom, everyone started prostrating. And Gandhari started, blessing, Aishman Bhava, Aishman Bhava, Aishman Bhava. May you live long for 100 years. Now imagine, tomorrow morning there's a battle. And when the battle is about to start and someone is blessing us 100 years, may you live long 100 years, any sensible man will get offended. For example, someone is going to competition. If someone is going to competition, what do we say? Oh, wish you best of luck, all the best. Maybe the success on you. So Vijayi Bhava, this was being expected by Duryodhana, Dushyasana, and others. But contrary, Gandhari was blessing every son with the Aishman Bhava. After seeing little, Duryodhana got really offended. He took it very seriously and he said, Mother, tomorrow morning onwards, battle is going to start. What will happen, we don't know. And at what time, which arrow or which weapon will come and kill us, we do not know. And we don't bother for it also, never mind. But at this juncture, critical juncture, we never expected this Aishman Bhava blessing from you. Then Gandhari was quite patient. My dear son, what else you wish? Vijayi Bhava. We want maybe the success of you because she was a Pativrata. If she really feels and she really blesses, it can happen, it will happen because she was a Pativrata, chaste woman. One of the chaste women whom Indian women among the 7 or 9 chaste women, the Gandhar is also one. So such a power she had, spiritual power. And she was the greatest devotee of Lord Shiva also. But Gandhari, very interestingly, my dear son, I cannot bless you from or with Vijayi Bhava. Then everyone took aback. Then Duryodhana said, What? Can't you bless us Vijayi Bhava? That means you want us to lose and the Pandavas should win? Gandhari says, No, may not be. But still, because I cannot bless you with Vijayi Bhava blessings. Duryodhana again, he got really, he was furious and he said, Why? What is stopping you to bless me or bless us with Vijayi Bhava? Then Gandhari says, No, because of my Rani Dharma. You are a Kshatriya Kumara. You are the belong to warrior race. Your duty is to fight in the war. Similarly, I am a queen of the kingdom. As a queen, I have got so many dharma, I have got so many duties. So before I am becoming a mother for you, I am a queen of the kingdom. So for a queen, everyone is equal. So if I bless you, Vijayi Bhava, then someone will lose the battle, someone should lose the battle. And here enemies are not outside from our kingdom, they are my own people who are the part of our kingdom. Pandavas maybe or whomever so. So by blessing Vijay Bhava to you, my Rani Dharma will go into bad. So I will be devoid of doing my duty. So I will perform adharma. That is the reason I cannot bless you with Vijay Bhava. Only I can give you Aishman Bhava. Then someone may question. Then you are blessing, why are you blessing live long 100 years? Yes, because I'm a mother. Every mother thinks that their son should live for long 100 years or whatever. So as a mother, Matru Dharma, I am blessing you, but as a Rani Dharma, I cannot bless you, Vijay. And opposite in the tent, Kunti went to the Pandavas tent. Again, they were all the people were happy. They welcomed her, their mother Kunti. They gave a seat. They washed her feet, and they started again prostrating. And Kunti also started blessing the Pandavas with Aishman Bhava only, but not Vijay Bhava. But only contrary is here. After taking the blessings, the Pandavas said, Mother, you have traveled from such a long distance because today Kurukshetra, it is all like Punjab, and Astinapura was in UP more or less, or little more Haryana or whatever maybe. It was quite a distance. So you might have tired. So please take a rest. We will see afterwards. They didn't demand anything. They didn't question their mother, but just they were about to leave the place. Kunti herself asked, My dear children, you didn't get any question that why I am not blessing you with a victory. Victory be yours. Then Dharmaraya, Yudhishthira says, Mother, you have got a discrimination and you know what to bless or what type of blessing you can give for us at what time. So by asking question, though we felt that question came in our mind, by asking this, we didn't want to put you into duality. We don't want to put you into dharma dvandva. So that's why we kept quiet. But Gandhari says, Kunti says, my dear, because I have given a birth to the Kshatriyas, that warrior race, and as your duty, please do your duty. And I am also Kshatra Rani. I am also queen. So I have got my some of my duties I have to follow. So I am following my dharma. I am following my duty. But Pandavas, they accepted and they went. And here Duryodhana still is pleading her mother, no, you have to bless us. Vijay Bhava, Vijay Bhava, Vijay Bhava. Finally, She said a statement now, which is the tagline or the motto of the Supreme Court of India. She finally said, Yato dharma tato jaya. Wherever dharma is there, wherever the righteousness is there, let the victory be on that side. So wherever dharma will be there will be victory. So probably she was also aware, consciously and unconsciously, my children, whatever they are doing is not right. You see, here, though as a Gandhari, she was loving their children, no doubt, but at the same time, as a queen, she never deviated from her dharma, from her duty. Contrary, her own husband, Dhritarashtra, but though he was a king, he was supposed to be objective or he was supposed to be impartial on everyone, but he was partial. So most of our love will be always partial. It is bound or it is binded or it is blind with our own colors. But whereas with the God's love, God's affection, God's compassion, it is with free of all these limitations, we can say, or defects, we can say. So God's compassion is also based on the divinity of the being. When God shows some compassion on us, because not of any relationship or because not of any selfish interest, because not of any calculations, no. Because just is a being or a divine or his own son or his own daughter. So with that spiritual angle, God is trying to help us. So God's compassion and human compassion, there's a total difference, or there's a different category, different hierarchy, we can say. And how to understand these things? Probably we'll see few incidents in Sri Ramakrishna's life. By that we can understand how Sri Ramakrishna was the embodiment of love, embodiment of compassion. Shashi Maharaj, Swami Ramakrishna Anandaji, who was the apostle of South India, it is known, because he came and he spread the life and teachings of Ramakrishna and the Ramakrishna movement in the southern India especially. So he was a young chap, and Sri Ramakrishna, because of his throat cancer, he was brought to from Dakshineshwar to Kashipur. Kashipur is the place in Calcutta. In the particular house, Sri Ramakrishna was kept, housed, and he was taken care. The young disciples who left their home and earth and they were staying with Sri Ramakrishna, most of them, and in turn, they were looking after Sri Ramakrishna. So once Shashi, the young chap, he was serving Sri Ramakrishna. It was his turn, he was serving Sri Ramakrishna. And it was a cold season. It was a winter season. For some or other reason, Shashi had left Sri Ramakrishna alone and he had went out for some work. Then after some time, he entered. Sri Ramakrishna, with his weak body, he was crawling just like a small kid, baby crawls on the surface or on the land. So Sri Ramakrishna was also, because of the weakness, he was crawling and he was trying to get something. Shashi entered and he saw Sri Ramakrishna is crawling and to go and get something. And he was trying to get the shawl which was hanged on the wall. Shashi felt very bad. He felt very bad and was a bit angry also for two reasons. Just I went probably 5 minutes over. In 5 minutes, I would have come. Sri Ramakrishna couldn't wait for me. Why? Because in such a weakness, in such a helplessness, was it required for Sri Ramakrishna to go and fetch the shawl? Instead of that, he could have called me or he could have waited for me so that nothing will happen to Sri Ramakrishna. Out of love and out of concern to Sri Ramakrishna, he was angry. So probably in a strong voice, he asked, why did you got up from your bed and why are you crawling on the floor and why are you going near the wall? You could have called us. What do you want? Sri Ramakrishna then slowly, he said, there is a shawl, so I want you to take it. Hare, it is already again on the wall. You have to again stand up and you may not be able to. If you try, probably you may fall and something happens for you. Why did you do all these things? Instead of that, you could have called me or you could have waited for a few minutes. He was expecting probably Sri Ramakrishna is feeling cold, so probably he wants shawl. So to cover himself, that's why he's struggling. But it was the other case. It was not the case. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, no, because winter I'm seeing, cold, but you don't have a proper clothes yourself. So you are serving me, but at the same time you don't have proper clothes, winter clothes. So I was feeling that probably you'll be struggling or you'll be suffering from the cold. So I thought before you were coming, I will go and get the shawl so that when you come, I can give the shawl so that you can cover the shawl on your body, wrap your body by the shawl, and you will be able to take care. You will be protected by the winter. When these words were heard by Shashi, the tears started rolling down. At this juncture, where he was so weak, he was reduced to just bone and skin. He was unable to get up. He was unable to even, turn one side. Even at that physical helplessness, Sri Ramakrishna crawled to such some distance, and he was trying to get the shawl to cover Shashi, to cover young man. The love, the concern of Sri Ramakrishna towards Shashi moved Shashi, and tears started rolling down. And he fell at his feet and he said, "Why did you do this? It was not required. Or at the most, you could have asked me, if something happened for you, what will happen to us? We will be probably orphans without you." Then he cried and he prayed, "So henceforth, please, you don't do like this." He prays to Sri Ramakrishna, and again he helps Sri Ramakrishna, goes back to his bed, and Sri Ramakrishna, again he lies back on the bed. You see, even at that juncture, at that physical helplessness, or Sri Ramakrishna was suffering from disease, even at that juncture, he wanted to help his disciples. He wanted to serve his disciples. Why? Because he was able to see the divinity in every being. And probably the story of Rasika is very interesting. Many times I keep on thinking about it. We all know that Rasika, he was an illiterate, he comes from a poor background. In those days, caste system was there, very rigid. He comes from a lower caste. We all know that. Sri Ramakrishna, he had born in Brahmin family, which is known as upper caste, and in the priestly class was born. So to remove that notion, even to remove that notion from his mind that I am from Brahmin family, I am superior, that notion should not be there, which can be the binding and which will prevent me to have a God realization. Sri Ramakrishna, he went and he cleaned the bathroom of the same Rasika's house. And Rasika was the scavenger, or he was the sweeper in the Dakshineshwar temple. This is all we know. This we all, most of us, we know that whoever studies Sri Ramakrishna's life in deep. Then afterwards, slowly, when Rasika used to see Sri Ramakrishna, somehow slowly started developing devotion towards it. But at the same time, Rasika was also a good drinker. If he gets money, he used to consume alcohol. One fine day, one fine day, Rasika was intoxicated with the drinking, and he started talking something. Sri Ramakrishna heard all that conversations, and he said, okay, I can understand why it has happened like to you, and why are you behaving in such a peculiar way today, so that let it be so. Let it be whatever you want, you enjoy. Rasika, it was so simple and so straightforward. He says, "Yeah, you may say, but every day who will give money for me to consume alcohol? You may say that why are you preventing, or why are preventing me, or why are you behaving in such a way? I know that, but who will give me the alcohol?" Sri Ramakrishna laughs, and he says that okay. mm, he smiles and he goes away. Then when that intoxication came down, Rasika remembers the whole incident, and he feels himself ashamed. Then after some days again, the Rasika's devotion started developing more and more. He himself had inferiority complex, Rasika, because of so many reasons. He never dared to go inside Sri Ramakrishna's room. And he used to see solicitors used to come, judge, used to come, doctors, the cream layer of the society, they used to come and sit at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna, and they used to learn few things, spiritual lessons. And Rasika many times used to feel that, oh, I'm not so blessed where I can go and sit among them, and where I can listen to the immortal words of Sri Ramakrishna. But still, inside that yearning, it started increasing day by day, day by day, day by day. And unknowingly, he started preparing himself. He started believing, thinking that Sri Ramakrishna is a saint, prophet, God. And the path, whichever, like from Sri Ramakrishna, whoever gone to Dakshineshwar, all of you know, you can imagine very well that where from his room, Sri Ramakrishna used to go to Panchavati for his nature call, and used to use particular path most of the times to go to Kali temple or Radhakanta temple. And most of the pathways which Sri Ramakrishna used to use, so Rasika used to take utmost care, particular play of that paths. Why? There should not be even twig left. so that when Sri Ramakrishna goes, walks in that path, particularly, Sri Ramakrishna should not get hurt by even a small leaf or a twig or whatnot. Because Sri Ramakrishna's body was so sensitive it had become. Even a strong thread was enough to have a cut on the Sri Ramakrishna's finger or on the skin. Such a soft skin it had become. That is called in the, I mean, technically in the philosophy, it is called Bhagavati Tanusharir, which has become so sensitive, so subtle because of the sadhana, because of his spiritual practices. And somehow Rasika was aware of it. So he used to see that a small pebble, small stones, or even twigs should not be there so that which can hurt Sri Ramakrishna, or so Sri Ramakrishna may get wound or whatever. He did for, I mean, a couple of days or a couple of months. So slowly, devotion got increased, and it probably it somewhere it some time it was ripened. One day he was sweeping, probably. Sri Ramakrishna again came out from his room and he was about to go to Panchavati. That day somehow Rasika was unable to control himself. And he went unconsciously, probably, because the devotion had ripened, probably. He went and he caught hold of Sri Ramakrishna's feet and he told, it is a very Bengali, which is, Amake ki hobe. What will happen to me? So he's profusely, bitterly crying. Sri Ramakrishna, I mean, Rasika is crying, and his probably his tears have, I mean, washed the feet of the Lord Sri Ramakrishna. And Rasika is saying, Amake ki hobe. What will happen to me? Sri Ramakrishna said, Tumake ki hobe. Tumake ki hobe. What will happen to you? But Rasika didn't leave him. But Rasika didn't keep quiet. He said, No. Amake ki hobe bolun. Amake ki hobe bolun. No, you have to tell me what will happen to me. What will happen? Means at the frag end of my life, what will happen to me? Whether will I be deserted or what will happen to me? That was his question. Sri Ramakrishna said, "Theek aaje, tumake shab hoy jabe." All right, everything will happen to you at whatever you are wishing or whatever you are thinking or whatever you are praying. It is all like very in a mystical language it is, or in a very figurative language. Then Rasika felt very happy. Rasika thought that he has got divine grace, then he need not to bother. Then Rasika got up and Ramakrishna went to Panchavati to have its nature call. I mean, after some days, Sri Ramakrishna, because of his cancer or whatever, he was brought back to, I mean, Kashipur, and after some days, he left his mortal coil. By the time Rasika was old enough, and by when he heard that Sri Ramakrishna left his mortal coil, Rasika felt very bad about it. Rasika was grief stricken. Rasika felt, my life has gone. My life has gone. Then what should I do? Why should I leave? He started thinking, I mean, he was so much grief stricken, and that had set upon his health also, because and his old age, and it also had added his that grief on his health. Then he was unable to do the work, and his job was given to his daughter, and daughter continued, and slowly he started restricting himself in the house. He was a drunkard. He never knew scriptures. He never studied any big books or whatever. He never heard discourses. But still, a sort of God intoxicated life started creeping in Rasika's life. He started remembering Thakur more and more, repeating the Lord's name or practicing devotion in a known way. One fine day, Rasika calls the family people and said, Today, you finished your lunch early. Then they were all, I mean, thinking why this old man is telling. But anyhow, they cooked early and they finished the lunch also. Then just he was lying on the bed and suddenly he started shouting, Hey, tumra esho. Hey, who are all there? Please come, please come. All the family members came to his bed, came near bed. He said, Please put the asam. Sri Ramakrishna has come. But people are not seeing anyone. And all of them, they know that Sri Ramakrishna is no more physical. He has left his mortal coil. But they thought probably this old man, so in the old age, people keep on blabbering, they don't understand, so he's telling. But again and again he said that, no, put asan, Sri Ramakrishna has said. So probably they tried to put her, whatever. Then he started, oh, Baba, tumi esto, tumi je bole chilo, tumi esto, tikache. So, hey Baba, hey Lord, whatever you had promised to me, whatever you had said, you have fulfilled your promise, you have come. So his face was glistened with such a light, a radiant peace, heavenly smile on this Rasika's face. So I mean, people were able to understand that he has got some divine experience, or he has had a wonderful experience. So Rasika, seeing that and taking the Sri Ramakrishna's name, he breathed his last. See, again, he comes from a lower background, poor background. He never knew anything of Shastra scriptures, or he never attended any sermons or whatever. And he was a drunkard also. But still, in spite of all these things, because of his sincerity, because of his straightforwardness, because of his devotion towards Sri Ramakrishna, he, he had a Sri Ramakrishna's vision during his deathbed. He had a Sri Ramakrishna's vision. So that means what? So Sri Ramakrishna is a compassionate man. If we are sincere to certain extent at least, if we can sincerely feel for him, if we can sincerely with the tears at least in our lifetime, few time if we can pray for him, definitely he will not let us go out. He will not let us, and he will protect us. He will take care of us. This has been heard and this has been experienced by many devotees and many sadhus also. So that's why, with that faith, with that unflinching faith, if we can pray to Sri Ramakrishna, it may not be possible all time for us, but at least sometime if we can do it, definitely he will not leave us. And one more incident, very standard, famous incident, which most of us we know, that is Devghar incident. We all know Devghar is one of the Dvadasha Jyotirlinga. Among 12 Jyotirlingas, one is Devghar. Sri Ramakrishna, along with Mathur, he went for Kashi. In those days, they used to go either by horse carriage or bullock cart or by train or some by walk or by boat. So Mathurnath Vishwas and Sri Ramakrishna, they were going. While they were going, they had been near Devghar. In that place, especially a good chunk of people, they never had even a square meal. I mean, at least full stomach, probably many days had over, a few months had over, even they didn't have a proper food. And they had not applied oil for their hair properly. They didn't have a proper clothes, even a set of clothes also. So in such a dire poverty, a group of people or a chunk of people were living. Probably would have, when we would have felt bad about them, we would have felt uneasiness, and probably would have helped little or whatever. Or we would have said, no, we are traveling now, we are pilgrimage, we need money. How can we help? Oh God, please save them, please help them. We would have, most of us, we pray and we leave. But when Sri Ramakrishna saw them, he said to Mathur, Mathur, kindly give them at least one sumptuous meal and one set of clothes and little oil to apply for their hair. And there's quite a good number of people. Mathur said, Lord, I don't say that I will not give them, but now if I spend money for them by providing food, cloth, and oil, etc., then probably I will have a problem with my expenses, because they also had a big group who are going to Kashi as a pilgrimage. So once we go back to Calcutta, then I will send food, clothes, and whatever you say. Probably would have said, yes, it is a commonsensical, it makes sense. Okay, we will do it like that. Oh, but you should promise, or you should keep your word, we would have said at the best and would have left the place. But Sri Ramakrishna said, no, until otherwise you give food for them, clothes and oil for them, I will not come. And Mathur started pleading. Sri Ramakrishna was so strong in that, and he sat and he went and sat in the midst of the group and said, till you provide them at least one day meal, a set of clothes and little oil for them to apply on their hair, I will not leave this place. Saying that, Sri Ramakrishna went and sat in the midst of that community, or in the midst of the poor people. Then Mathurnath Vishwas, he never had any other option. Then he arranged for food, sumptuous meal for one time at least, and a pair of clothes and oil for their apply and have a bath. And afterwards, he had to get the money from the Calcutta immediately, and he made all arrangements. When that was done, then Sri Ramakrishna agreed, now let us go. And they went to Kashi or Varanasi to have the Lord's darshan. So this became the basic our basic philosophy, or this became the one of the guideline for the Ramakrishna movement, for the Ramakrishna order, to take care of the philanthropic activities during the distress, during the natural calamities in India. Any natural calamity, Ramakrishna Mission people will be the first there to go and help them, to serve the people. So this incident became the guiding light for the Ramakrishna Mission monks and the devotees to serve the people. And also, one probably a similar story happened, incident in the life of Latu Maharaj, Swami Adbhutanand. He is from Bihar, but during his childhood days itself, he had lost his parents, and he was living with the help of uncle. He came to Calcutta, and he was living there, and he was working for someone else. Then a poor boy Somehow Sri Ramakrishna felt he's a good boy, he's a good natured person. So then he asked the Dr. Ramchandra Datta, I think, a devotee, that can you give me this person so that he's a very nice boy, he's a very good boy. Then he said, okay, and Latu Maharaj, that is Adbhutananji, future Adbhutananji, he started staying with Sri Ramakrishna. And probably he had probably a set of clothes, that's all. And even he didn't had sandals to wear, and whatever the Dakshineshwar temple prasad used to get, and he used to eat and spend time in sadhana or the service of Sri Ramakrishna. So by seeing that, probably a devotee brought a pair of sandals, slippers for him to use. And just one day over, and he had left outside of the Sri Ramakrishna's room probably, and he went for somewhere else. And Sri Ramakrishna came out and he saw only one slipper is there, the other pair of slipper is missing. Probably a dog might have come and taken and it might have kept somewhere. So Latu had gone to somewhere for meditation for some work. After some time, he comes back and he sees that Sri Ramakrishna is not in the room. He checks nearby, he didn't find, then he was waiting for Sri Ramakrishna. Then after probably an half an hour or 1 hour, Sri Ramakrishna returns back. Then Latu Maharaj or Adbhutanji inquired, Thakur, where were you? I searched for you, I didn't find you. Where were you? First, initially, probably he ignored. Then again, Latu Maharaj asked, then he said, no, I saw that your one pair of slipper was missing. So without that, probably you will have a difficulty. A devotee brought for you at least. So you should wear. But unfortunately, a dog might have taken and it might have hidden in the bushes or in the near some plants or trees. So I went in search of that slipper and sandal. When this statement was heard, Latu Maharaj again, tears started rolling down on his cheeks. He's an orphan, comes from a poor background. He was, I mean, no one actually, but still, Sri Ramakrishna's love, Sri Ramakrishna's concern, it was so much on Latu Maharaj. He, as being a guru, Sri Ramakrishna himself came, I mean, went in search of the slippers or sandals of his own disciple. Then Latu Maharaj begged that you should not do that. By doing that, probably I will have a bad things because you are my guru. And if you do, I am supposed to do your service. You are not supposed to do my service. He pleaded and he begged. So here we can see, we are sincere. Definitely, Sri Ramakrishna can go to any extent, or God will go to any extent to help us. So Yoga Kshemam Vahamyam in Bhagavad Gita comes. Whoever dedicates their life to me, I will look after them. I will look after them. I will look after their family, definitely. So this is one of the biggest question many of the monks faces by devotees. Swami, you are maybe one son or two son or whatever. So you joined. What happened to your family? I mean, especially parents, because you were supposed to take care of your parents. And now you joined, you are leading a spiritual life, fine. But what is your plight? What is the plight of your, I mean, old age parents? Who will look after? So this is the question many times, many devotees they ask. And at least till now, whomever I have heard the incidents from the senior monks and my own experience and the junior monks mostly, but all of our experiences, the parents may have got some physical problems. They may have to face some physical challenges because, like for an example, if I'm only one son, now no one is there to take care of them. They have to take care of everything. Probably if they've got son and daughter-in-law, some other things, physical level, some security or physical level, they would have got some help. That type of problems they may have to face, but they will feel so much peaceful and unknowingly at real, I mean, at a discomfort or really when the problems are there, some of people will come and help them. That is the experience of all the senior sadhus, including myself. So when they are in really problem, when they are in really need of some people, definitely God sends someone or God comes in some form and they help. So this yoga kshemam vahamyam is very, very important and which is a very promising statement for all of us as devotees. Because many times we get this problem. Oh, what will happen to me? Who will take care of me? I am in distress, I'm in difficulties, I'm in challenges, I'm in adverse circumstances. What will happen to me? These problems can haunt us. And the more and more we become old, at the old age, these problems can haunt us, will haunt us, no doubt. But this all these incidents should bring us confidence, should give us faith more and more, our devotion towards Lord, that Lord is there. I am the son of the Lord, I am the daughter of the Lord. He or she will take care. Of course, we have to do our duties, we have to fulfill our responsibilities, no doubt, but at the same time, we can depend on God completely. Like Sri Ramakrishna tells in his teachings, holding a pillar, and if you start circulating, there is no problem. Like when we are small, probably this pillar post games we might have played. Till then, the child is holding the pillar strongly, the post strongly, then there is no, I mean, fear of falling. So similarly, if you can hold on to Sri Ramakrishna, if you can hold on to God, and if you can start working in the world or in the society or in our family life, definitely there will be no problem. Even if the problems are there, you'll be able to overcome, you'll be able to transcend them. That doesn't mean that problems will not come. Problems will come, no doubt. Sometimes God Himself will give problem for us as an extra bonus. He Himself will give problems for us to test and to examine, to make us mature, to probably increase our devotion, or to make dependence, more and more dependence on Him. He may bring more and more difficulties for us. But if you have got faith, at least internally, you will not be moved or you will not be disturbed. That's why there's a, I mean, in the Gita, Bhagavad Gita, just like Arjuna has got 10 names, even Krishna has been called by different names. So one of the name for Lord Narayana or Krishna is Rishikesha, and one is called Madhusudana. Madhusudana, Sudana means destroyer or slainer out of Madhu. Because Krishna killed one demon called Madhu, that's why it's called Madhusudana. This is one of the general meaning, we all know that. But who knows bit Sanskrit and who goes bit deep meaning, yogika artha we say in Sanskrit, one who knows bit deeply, the Madhusudana means one who takes all our happiness or one who takes all our comforts. The moment when we hear the Krishna is called Madhusudana, he takes all our pleasures. He takes away all our pleasures. He is called Madhusudana. When we hear the meaning, oh my God, then why was I worshipping the Lord Madhusudana or Krishna after all this time? I want comforts. I want pleasures. I want to be safe. That's the reason I was worshipping the Lord. And Lord is taking away all these things. This means then why should I worship? It is better not to worship. Oh my God, oh my God, I made a mistake by worshipping you. So definitely this type of thinking, it will come to all of us. So what does it mean, Madhusudana? Why will he, why he snatches or why he pulls, why he takes away the comfort zone? Why? Because the comfort zone or whatever is there, knowingly or unknowingly, we will be depending on the world, we'll be depending on the pleasures, we'll be depending on the materialistic comforts, and probably we may deviate or we may go away from the God. So the more and more problem comes, a devotee will depend more and more on the God. It's the same thing. If you see in all the greatest devotees' life, they had to face a lot of problems, lot of adverse circumstances, and blame, whatnot. But still, the more the problems they got, they depended more on God. But whereas in a common people, they get, what I think recently had been to Karg. In the Karg, one person he was saying he's an initiated devotee. From his young age, he was the great devotee of Sri Ramakrishna. And he had a one or two problems in his family life. There was a miscarriage with his wife, and there was some problem in the their home also. He said, I stopped meditating on Sri Ramakrishna. I started even remembering Sri Ramakrishna. Why? Because I am angry on him. Means from young age, I worshipped him, I prayed for him and all, but still so many problems is happening. Then what is the use of worshipping Sri Ramakrishna? So I stopped worshipping Sri Ramakrishna. Means basically was angry towards Sri Ramakrishna. So when the devotion is not ripened, what happens? This type of negative feelings, negative reactions can happen. Some people become very pessimistic in their outlook. Why? Because they have to face a lot of problems. In psychology, it is called disturbed childhood or disturbed adolescent age. Or when they have to face a lot of problems, they lose the confidence and faith in the God or in the better things or in the higher values. They become atheist, they become agnostic or whatnot. But a real devotee, a real genuine person, a real discriminative person, the he when he gets difficulties more and more, his dependence on God becomes more and more. This is the difference between a common man, an unripened person, with a ripened person. So Madhusudana means one who takes away comforts means I should not depend anything on world or worldly comforts. I should completely depend on God. So to have the maturity of our devotion, to probably to increase our devotion and faith, God gives this type of touch. We have to understand. This we can see very clearly in Manmatanath's life. Manmatanath also had suffered terribly during his youth age, young age. And sometimes he was collapsed and he was disturbed and whatnot. At that time, at that time, he came to Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna was in Kashipur already. He was in his probably deathbed, or we can say, or just he was about to leave his mortal coil. Manmatana was so much grief stricken because of problems he has to face again and again and again and again. So he was crying very profusely, very bitterly. Sri Ramakrishna consoled him. After consoling him, Sri Ramakrishna gave his own portrait and he said, "Look, you worship this, you will be taken care." Sri Ramakrishna gave his own portrait for this Manmatanath and he said, "You worship this, you meditate or you worship this, your problems are taken care." That gave a tremendous confidence in him, that gave a so much assurance in him. What the problems might not have been dissolved, or problems might not have been stopped externally, but internally there was no reaction or response to him at all. When Sri Ramakrishna said, "I'm giving this portrait, you take this and you worship, all your problems will be subsided or it will be dissolved." That assurance, it gave him such an assurance to him, then he never had any doubt henceforth. He started addressing Sri Ramakrishna as Priyanatha. Priyanatha, Priyanatha. Again, then also he started crying when he was uttering the word Priyanatha. Earlier he was crying because of problems. Now he was crying because of the devotion and love towards Sri Ramakrishna. Hey Priyanatha, Raksha Karo. Or Palayamame, like that. Hey Lord, please bless me, please protect me, please take care of me. And afterwards, though he had ample opportunities to come back and to meet Sri Ramakrishna, he never came back again. Why? That one, probably that meeting with Sri Ramakrishna was enough for him to give a complete assurance to faith and confidence or whatnot. So just he was meditating on Sri Ramakrishna and he was praying to Sri Ramakrishna, he was worshipping and adoring Sri Ramakrishna. And he heard Sri Ramakrishna passed away. He felt bad about. After some days, or after in the later days, in Bharanagar Mutt, when Bharanagar monastery started, which was the first monastery of Ramakrishna Mutt, he used to come there, it seems. And people, the direct disciples, apostles of Sri Ramakrishna, whoever seen them, they used to say, when he used to enter Bharanagar Mutt, we used to see, it was like a madcap. Why? Because so much love and so much, he was intoxicated by divine love. And generally, we all know that in especially in India or Hindu temples, people are not allowed to go in the Garbha Mandira, in the sanctorium. But Priyanatha was extra, he was exception, including Shashi Maharaj. He never stopped Manmatanath to go near Sri Ramakrishna's portrait and touch him or pray him, whatever. So Manmatanatha directly used to go to the prayer hall and that Garbha Mandir and used to touch Sri Ramakrishna with the tears, he used to pray and sit and meditate and whatnot. And with a God intoxicated state, used to go back. Such a thing we can see when the God's compassion happens, when the God's karuna, when the God's daya happens on us, then we are taken care, we are blessed and whatnot. Physical problem, mental problem, emotional problem, spiritual problem, or any problem may be there, we'll be able to forego or we'll be able to overcome. So may Sri Ramakrishna bless all of us so that we shall be able to overcome all the problems and we shall have an unflinching devotion at his holy feet. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.